Hello, my name is Nick Zaybak. I'm from the Shakara, Hamulti Shakara. I was born in Jerusalem, October 12, 1944. My father is Joseph Zaybak, Yusuf Zaybak. My mother is Zarifa Zaybak. My grandparents on my father's side, my grandfather is Isa, my grandmother Martha. And on my mother's side, they are from Shamiya family. My grandfather, Lias Shamiya, and my grandmother is Mary. My mother did not work. My father used to work for Singer Sewing Machine Company, which was headquartered in Amman, Jordan. And there is when we lived in Amman at the time. I was born in 1944, and in 1948, during the Nakba, we immigrated to Amman. And when we immigrated to Amman, we lived in one room house for all of us. We were six of us, six children, and my father and my mother. And because there was full influx of these immigration people coming out of the Palestine, and it was hard to find any place. As things got better, we moved to a bigger house, and my father was promoted to become the general manager of Singer Sewing Machine Company. And then that's when we moved to a bigger house with a lot of rooms, but we still shared our bedrooms, 2 to each room. Meanwhile, my sisters got married, and so we were the 4 of us. My older brother went to Cairo to study for his college education, so we became much more elaborate. However, sometime in between there, my father decided to have us move back to Ramallah. Our house in Ramallah at the time was occupied by my 2 aunts, sisters of my father. And it's a simple house that was in the old section of Ramallah in Hosh, behind the old Beladiyah. And we lived there in the one main room downstairs where we had all the beds there. And we had 2 beds, but we also had mattresses. And the other room was considered a storage room, as well as a kitchen, as well as everything else. But we also had an outhouse, and which we didn't have running water in the house. We didn't have electricity at the beginning. Then electricity was put in, so we were able to use that electricity, which was a big celebration for us at the time that we had electricity. But the water we never had. We used to have the water truck from the Beladiyah come in, big truck, so you take any pots and pans and tins that you have and fill up the water there and bring it to your house until next time they come. So we had, the drinking water was in a jarrah, clay, and we left it in the second room, the kitchen area, so to speak. And so with a cup to drink, everybody used the same cup. We didn't have heat, but we had the canoon, where we put some coal in there and light it up and use it to warm up, okay? We didn't have the bathroom outside. was not accessible during the night because you would have to unlock these doors. These doors were made from steel doors with 4 bars on the inside for protection, because during the Ottoman rule, they used to break the doors and come in and take the boys for the service, and the girls take them somewhere. So we made the house impenetrable. You could not break those doors. Okay, it's made out of 1-inch steel, and all the windows downstairs had bars over them. So where do we take our showers? We used to have this big legend, and we used to put it in the kitchen area, whatever you want to call it. And you put next to you is the babur, and you put 2 tunjaras, one filled with hot water over this babur, and one the cold water, and you had a small little cup that you mix it together, and you sit in this legend on a little stool, and then you use the hot water, mix it up to be tolerable, and you put it on yourself and you wash yourself. And then at the end, when you're finished, naturally your underwear, you just leave it soaking up in the legend, and then your brother comes in and takes the same bath. So all these underwear is there to be soaking up, and then at the end they take this. Your mother comes in or your aunt comes in, and they take the underwear and they take the rest of the clothes that need to be washed, and then they take this legend and they dump it into the floor of that second room to use it to wash the floor. So we used to wash the floor with it and then pick it up, and you take the water and dump it in the outhouse to flush it, basically. Okay? The outhouse was a unique thing where there's no running water naturally. It's a little hole in the ground with footsteps marked, and you have to put your feet where the footsteps are and then balance yourself. And no toilet paper, so they give you the newspapers. You read the newspaper and then you use it. And then you put it in the hole. And then you pour water in the hole. And that's how it was. Ramallah life was the most beautiful life I've ever experienced. It was the friendship that we did there. My cousins, you walk to anybody's house in Ramallah, it's like your own. The mother there would be, if they're having lunch, you just join them. There's no formalities. Everybody knew everybody. And it was a lovely, lovely way to live, and we enjoyed ourselves. Then I went to the Ramallah school, high school. First I went to middle school, then I went to Ramallah High School. But I did not graduate from Ramallah because my father wanted us to move back to Amman, so we moved back to Amman. I graduated from Amman, Kulliyat al-Hussein in Amman. And when I finished, I went to Birzeit College. I studied in Birzeit College. And there I was studying because I wanted to be a doctor. That's what everybody wanted to be in Ramallah. When I went there, one of my teachers, my math teacher, my physics teacher, was a nice man, very enthusiastic professor. And he says, Nick, you have more of a scientific mind than you do. You know math just like that. You know physics. You grasp that concept. So he taught me to become an engineer, to study engineering. So when I finished Birzeit, I transferred to the American University of Beirut. There, I went to school in Beirut. It was beautiful, one of the best campuses I've ever been to. The school was such a tough school to study in because it was such a advanced school. It's like a French school kind, okay? And it was the first year in college. Engineering was such a programmed curriculum that you didn't even have choices. They give you the classes that they want you, that will help you. And whatever I learned that first year in Beirut, when I came to America afterwards, I was still, they're still teaching the same classes I took in Beirut on my graduation year. It was unbelievable, the level of education in Beirut. Anyway, at that time, we had submitted papers, my father had submitted papers for us to immigrate to America. And when your number came, you had to make options, you have to make a choice. If you don't go the time they want you to go, then your name goes back on the bottom of the list. So my brother Leon and I decided to come to America. And so I finished my third year in college in Beirut, engineering school, and then I transferred and we came to New York in February 11, 1967, before the 67 war. And we came here, my brother Isa was already here, my brother Sam, who's younger, the youngest one, was here already. And we came and I enrolled at Hofstra University and I graduated within 2 years. And it was, and after that I worked for an engineering firm in New York City, and I was what they call a project manager. And that was the situation. It was the city, one of the projects that my company was involved in was the World Trade Center. We had other massive projects in the city, and I lasted there for 6-7 years. Meanwhile, in our church in Long Island, I met my wife, Noelle Zaybak, Noelle Hannah, and we got married in 1975. And after that, I left my job because my brothers were in the supermarket business and they wanted our help. So I left the supermarket business, the engineering position I had, and I joined my brothers and we opened a chain of supermarkets. And we had, Noel and I had 3 children, and it was a wonderful life for us. And we have 5 grandchildren, and America's trip was a memory of me, for me, of what hard work produces results, produces success, and thank God everything is good. Thank you very much.